You want to learn how to live longer? Find out what's happening with the American Heart Association locally. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Fox 43 studio. We're focused on the American Heart Association. We're visiting with Tammy Eaves, the Senior Area Director. Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning, Greg.
Thanks so much for being with us this morning. It's so exciting always to get you in. You know, someone pointed out the other day, they were talking about guests who've been in on a regular basis, and I think you and Hilda and a couple others are up there near the top of guests over the last 2 years since we launched, Tammy. So thanks again for getting in.
Thanks for inviting us. It's always a great opportunity to come on the air and talk about our events.
Yeah, and such big events coming up, and of course so many amazing events this past year. It was such a spectacular year, and I think y'all's fiscal year now will end in about 10 days.
That's right. On
Okay.
June 30th, our fiscal year ends. But we had a spectacular year this year. Set a goal that folks on our board thought was pretty hefty of $500,000, and we actually netted $589,000.
Oh, come on.
So we're
You are kidding.
very, very pleased with that. Those results, and we grossed $665,000. So
Wow.
we raised a lot of money in the Waccamaw area, which covers Horry and Georgetown County.
Right, right. Now, of course, for viewers who may not be familiar with all the events y'all put on over the last 12 months, what are the primary events, and when do they kick off?
The American Heart Walk is held each October, as well as it will be this October, and it was also last October. This will be our 13th year this year. Last year we had just an outstanding event. As you know, it was in memory of Ashby Ward, whom we had just lost last April to heart disease unexpectedly, and we just had a tremendous amount of support from the community for that event. So we had about 2,800 walkers, which was almost double what we had had the year before. Raised $174,000, which was almost double what we had raised the year before. So it was just a phenomenal event. I think we had a 91% increase this past year from the American Heart Walk. So that was just absolutely phenomenal.
Well, that was a great way to kick off the fiscal year, and
Yes.
then y'all moved quickly into the horseback ride-a-thon.
Right. Just a couple of weeks later was the horseback ride-a-thon, which we've been doing for 22 years, and it's at Lakewood Campground. We have had it at Ocean Lakes in the past, but we had it at Lakewood Campground for the last 2 years. It was fantastic. Had over 1,200 horses from all over the country. Only about 15% of the horses actually come from our local viewing area. Really, a lot of them are from all over the country. So it's just an event to bring dollars from outside of the area to the Horry County division. So it's absolutely phenomenal.
Now, Tammy, do other Heart Association chapters around the country have a horseback beach ride?
No, we're the only one.
You're kidding.
And I don't know of any other nonprofit organizations that do anything of that nature. And, of course, having internet and website, we've actually been online searching for things like that. When we put in beach ride, we get motorcycle rides, bicycle rides, but no horse rides. So we are very unique. And there's still folks out there, even though we've been doing it for 22 years, that are just hearing about it for the first time. And the internet has certainly helped us to grow, because there are a lot of folks that do trail rides on a regular basis. And so they get online and find that there's actually a place in the world that they can go camp out on an oceanfront campground with their horse for 4 days. Absolutely phenomenal event. And that event raised over $155,000 last year.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, what are the ways that, when you say what are the ways to raise funds for an event like a horseback beach ride, Tammy?
The traditional way that folks raise money is get a collection envelope and just go around and collect donations. Usually they collect those from family, friends, relatives, but some people go to businesses, dry cleaners, grocery stores, things like that, people that you frequently spend money with, and ask them for donations.
Right.
There have been wraparound activities associated with the horse ride, where someone in the saddle club, for example, just had heart disease and may have had open heart surgery, and so they do some kind of a fundraising activity in honor or in memory of someone in the saddle club. And that could be anything from and something we might would call a chicken bog, which is pretty southern. So they might have chili cook-offs or things of that nature, things associated with horses. There have even been saddle clubs that have an event just specifically to raise money for the Heart Association. We had a couple of those last year where they conducted the event in Tennessee and sent us a check for $800.
Oh, great. Good.
Yeah, so there's a lot of activities that surround both the walk and the horse ride that are wraparound activities.
Now, Tammy, you said the Internet's used so often to help bring some new audience members or some new folks to the fold for the beach ride. What would be the web address if a viewer was interested in checking that out online or calling a friend of theirs in New Mexico and letting them know about it?
www.horsebackbeachride.com. Okay. And if you just type in horseback, it pops up. Or if you type in beach ride, it pops up. So it's a pretty generic name that will bring up a site. And once the site is brought up, almost all the paperwork that we have, and which is a lot of different things that describe the event, as well as sponsor forms to help you raise money from businesses or individuals. You can pull all that information up online, print it out on your computer, and just start raising money. You can also register online. Once you register online, it gives you an opportunity to create your own web page. And then you can put in email addresses of people that you know and ask for a donation to be given online. So you can email people all over the country and say, I'm riding in this horseback beach ride in November and I'd like for you to make a donation. They pull out their credit card, put it in, and you raise money without even having to see them face to face.
Wow, that's fantastic. How long has that been going, Tammy?
Last year was our very first year, and we raised over $12,000 online with the horseback ride.
I did not know that. That's fantastic.
It was fantastic.
Well, that's something to begin really promoting heavily now, horsebackbeachride.com. I think I saw an ad, full page ad y'all had in a national trail riding magazine that came out recently.
That's right, and it's actually called Trail Riders Magazine.
Oh, really?
And lots of folks who traditionally ride in trail rides throughout the year subscribe to that magazine. We had a really nice looking ad in there, and we hope that we pick up some new riders from that. Lakewood this year has opened up the entire campground. Last year they actually had another function going on the same weekend that we were there and had several hundred of their campsites utilized from that function. So last year we were limited as to how many campsites we had. We were limited to about 700. This year they're allowing us to have the entire campground, which is 1,200 campsites. 1,200
campsites.
Right. So we can really grow the event this year. If we get the interest out there, we will not be turning anybody away, and last year we did turn some riders away.
Now, is there a donation amount per rider that goes to the American Heart Association before the amounts would go to Lakewood Campground?
Sure. Actually, it's all handled separately. There is a registration fee of $115, and the riders the monies that they use, they go around and collect money, they can use that money to pay their registration fee. Okay. So they don't have to write a personal check of $115 and go around and collect money. It can be the same monies. And then they call us, pay us that amount of money, and then they call Lakewood and pay them for the campsite. And so it's handled directly. The expenses don't actually come out of the money that we raise. And they offer a very good rate of $17 a night. And it's normally about $30, $35 a night during that time of year. So there's a substantial discount. As well as that's the only time of year you can come, bring a horse, and stay at Lakewood Campground.
And now how many campsites or how many horses could fit on a campsite?
You could probably get 3 or 4. 2 are comfortable. What you have to think about is these folks have a vehicle, they have a horse trailer, and as well as sleeping quarters. Normally those horse trailers are pretty big because they have sleeping quarters attached in them.
Oh, yeah. So,
on a campsite, you've got a lot of stuff. So if people want to be comfortable, they might want to get 2 campsites.
Right. Now, there was a pretty big event. Y'all followed up with a pretty big event this past, just a few months ago, Tammy, the third event of your 3.
Right. Actually, our largest event and our largest fundraiser is our Heart Ball, which is our black tie event. It was held at the Marriott, the Myrtle Beach Marriott this year. It was our 10th annual, and We grossed over $250,000,
Wow.
which was fantastic. Netted over $202,000, so it was a fantastic event. Had 860 attendees, turned away over 100 people, and had lots of people on a waiting list that really wanted to get tickets. Unfortunately, that's the largest venue that we have in this community, so 860 is going to be pretty much our limit on the amount of people we can have attend that event. So for the past 3 years, we've turned people away for that event.
Wow.
And we increased our ticket price from $125 to $150, and we still turn people away. We also increased the sponsorship amounts. We actually raised an additional $50,000 this year from the 9th annual, which was held before at the Radisson. So we had a fantastic increase in revenue generation this year.
That's a great year. Now, Tammy, what are the funds used for? How are those funds appropriated? Do those stay within the Waccamaw division, or are those sent out? When someone makes a donation, whether it's that $115 rider fee or that donation for the horseback beach ride, or that ticket amount, other than the cost of the actual food itself, where do those funds go?
Well, the American Heart Association is a national organization, and the majority of our funds are used for research, and we also support professional and public education. The research dollars are used all over the country. We do support a lot of research in South Carolina at the University of South Carolina, Clemson, and the Medical University. All receive funds from our research, but research can be conducted in Dallas or in Baltimore, and we still receive the benefits all over the country. All doctors benefit, all hospitals benefit from the knowledge gained from research, no matter where it is conducted. So we can feel really good about that, and it's a little bit of a different organization than your traditional organization that comes in and says all the money stays right here in Horry County. All of our money does not stay here. We don't have a research facility here, number one. But our public and professional dollars that are raised do stay here. And they can feel really good about the amount of money that goes for management and general expenses. Our amount of each dollar that goes towards that is 7.4%, which is very small amount of the money raised. So when you look at other charities and how much money that is actually going to the organization versus how much is going for fundraising expenses or management and general expenses, a person can feel really good about how our dollars are broken down.
You also spend a lot on public health education as well.
Yes, we do. One of the great things we do is CPR. We also do the AED certifications and trainings. And when you go into the grocery store, look at the nutrition labels. Folks are a little bit confused right now with the low-carb scene and the low-fat scene and not knowing how do I shop. And we have a lot of folks that will call us from time to time and say, I just left the doctor's office, have a heart problem. You know, I've got to go to the grocery store. Doctor told me to change my diet, change my eating habits. I really don't know what to do. We have a wonderful wealth in our website that you can go on AmericanHeart.org and go into dietary restrictions, guidelines, and it tells you all kinds of things. But if you don't have access to that while you're at the grocery store, just look on the back of the food labels. The American Heart Association played a large role in those nutrition facts being printed on all food labels, and that is certainly a wonderful way to help people shop.
That's fascinating. Well, and of course, the impact of that when you walk into a grocery store and see in both the heart as well as the American Heart Association logo is a very exciting aspect, and one that gives a lot of credibility oftentimes to a box of crackers.
Right. Cheerios.
Yeah, Cheerios. That's right. We've seen on Cheerios quite a bit. Well, of course, so much of the focus, Tammy, these days are in getting ready for the upcoming fall events. You had very successful 12th annual Heart Walk, 22nd annual Horseback Beach Ride, of course, the 10th annual Heart Ball. But now those are back in cycle again. This fall, there'll be the Heart Walk this October. And, of course, the Ride-a-thon. And so few viewers know about that Ride-a-thon, as you said, because 15% of the riders may be here, but the other 85% coming from all over.
That's right. And really, when one event ends, we go ahead and start planning the other. The dates are normally set fairly soon after one event, and we have goals set and begin working. So there's really never a downtime when we're not planning an event. And at the walk and the Heart Ball, as well as the Ride-a-thon, folks are ready to sign up, the day after for next year, because they want to make sure that they have a spot at the Heart Ball, want to make sure that they have a spot at the horse ride. So we're very fortunate that our events are very successful and that people really want to participate in them.
There are also sponsorship opportunities for folks out there, whether it's a company or someone who works at a company who knows that their company would want to be associated with either or any of the three events. Are those open year-round? Can folks just call the office?
Sure, they can. We are very fortunate this year to have a presenting sponsor for all three events, which is the Myrtle Beach Herald and Better Blue Natural Spring Water. So we're very, very fortunate to have a sponsor of all three events, so we can promote our events with a presented sponsor, on all of them. And we have other levels, mostly platinum, gold, silver, those types of levels. All of them come with benefits such as advertising, logo placement on promotional items, lots of opportunities for folks to get their name out there and associate with a nonprofit organization that's doing great things within the community. So yes, somebody can call our office and I'll be glad to make an appointment with them, go down and sit down with them and talk about the marketing opportunities. They may think that being a sponsor of the Heart Ball is what they want to do, but when we talk about what their company is trying to achieve, for example, with Better Blue, you want to tie in with an organization that looks at exercise, fitness,
promoting
a healthy lifestyle.
Absolutely.
So it's a natural fit for the Heart Walk as opposed to the Heart Ball. Although it does make a good fit. Most of us all drink water, bottled water these days, as opposed to 20 years ago when we all drank soda. But
or from the tap, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
from
right.
the tap.
Sure.
So it's a natural fit. But sometimes when I meet with companies, I find that they're really trying to reach females, or they're really trying to reach a target audience that maybe sponsoring the Heart Walk fits them a little bit better than sponsoring the horse ride, or vice versa.
Right. So much of a press these days. Recently, it was so exciting. I think last year, Time Magazine had a cover story about the impact of coronary artery disease on women.
That's right.
And of course, President, the First Lady, kicking off the Go Red for Women campaign and helping really get that underway was so exciting last year. And of course, that continues to the present, I'm sure, for the foreseeable future.
That's right. We're very fortunate to have that campaign. There are a lot of organizations out there that have something similar to that. And a lot of women think that breast cancer is the #1 cause of death to women, and it is not. Heart disease is. And we need people to know that. In fact, 13,000 people die every year in South Carolina from heart disease.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. And 34 people die on average every single day from heart disease in South Carolina. So we need, those are 50% of them are women, and we need women to understand that heart disease is their biggest health threat.
That's very important. Thank you, Tammy. Let's go ahead and focus on the upcoming Heart Walk. And when we talk about, obviously, I know we're looking in October, some of the opportunities for a viewer to get involved with the Heart Walk. What are the primary ways that a viewer who's possibly interested getting out this year if they've never been involved in the past? And whether it's here or in the PD or southeastern North Carolina, I know October 23rd, I believe, is the date for the PD area Heart Walk, which is a huge event every year, raising more than $300,000. Of course, I'm sure in southeastern North Carolina and Lumberton and Laurinburg, there must be walks that are very close by. But for the Waccamaw division, what are some of the ways that a viewer can get involved?
Well, we'd like to have our walks have walk teams, form walk teams. And walk teams can be from companies, they can be from churches, they can be family and friends. But if a viewer is listening and they work at a company and they would like to get a walk team set up at their company, they can call us at 626-3939. We'll come out, make an appointment with them, and talk to them and teach them exactly all the things that they need to do in order to start their team. Or if there's somebody out there that maybe is a retiree and they really don't have a team, they just want to come out and join us, we have individuals that walk as well. So you're not limited as to serving on a team. You can walk as an individual. But if you have an opportunity to garner a team, even retirement communities, there's a lot of folks that walk every single day, so they can ask their neighbors to form a team with them, or Sunday school class. So there are lots and lots of ways in which a person can embrace this opportunity and form a team.
So there's no minimum number of walkers that someone would want to recruit. I mean, someone can walk individually.
They can walk individually. We do have a national plan because this is a national event. We'd like for our teams to consist of 10 walkers and have $100 goals, and therefore each team would bring in $1,000. But we had teams last year that brought in $20,000, and we had teams last year that brought in $20. Mm-hmm. So, we don't discriminate. We want everybody out there walking, raising money, and, forming as large a teams as you possibly can.
Right. There are also online opportunities there,
That's
like
right.
with the horseback beach ride
That's right.
as well.
That's right. It's just like the horseback beach ride, the same type of concept. You go out, sign yourself up online, and then you have an opportunity to create your own web page. And maybe if somebody in your family has just either survived heart disease or passed away from heart disease, you can scan their photo and email it to family members who may be more inclined to support you since you're walking in this event because of Grandpa Joe, who just passed away from heart disease. So wonderful ways in which people can donate online.
Speaking of Grandpa Joe, Tammy, you've had instances of heart disease and stroke within your family.
Mm-hmm. My grandfather died at age 42 from heart disease, and most of my uncles have died before age 60 from heart disease. So it's big in both my mother's family and my father's family. My mother's family has high blood pressure, cholesterol, and strokes, and as well as heart disease. So it's pretty significant in my family.
On special days like yesterday on Father's Day, when you're thinking about folks and oftentimes not being able to communicate with them.
That's right.
Because heart disease impacted them. Did the teams or the individuals have to complete the walk in a certain amount of time, or can they just get out there and walk halfway? I mean, do you have to walk the entire distance? No,
it is not a competitive walk in the sense of how long you walk. We will have a 1-mile route as well as a 3-mile route. If somebody can only walk a half a mile, that's welcome too. So they do not have to feel like they failed if they don't complete the entire route. So anybody who gets out and walks as far as they can was successful and helped us reach our goal.
Tammy, you mentioned the word wraparound events a little while ago and talking about some of the things related to the horseback beach ride. Are there wraparound events for the Heart Walk as well?
Right. The Heart Walk actually has more wraparound events than any of our events. Last year, the Myrtle Beach Chamber of Commerce did a chicken bog. I don't know if you remember that at our Myrtle Market. And they sold over $6,000 worth of chicken bog in about 45 minutes. Had they had more, they could have raised even more money. They also did a golf tournament, and they put a little twist to it. It was at one of the putt-putt courses. Raised about $3,000. I think they had Miss Bikini Wahine out there and some of the former Sun Fun queens. So it was a spectacular event that raised about $3,000. The city of Myrtle Beach has a golf tournament each and every year at Whispering Pines. That's one of the city properties. And that's a way to there's a lot of folks within some companies that really don't come out and walk. They really don't support us in that way. But if you have a golf tournament and you have a lot of golfers within your company, they'll pay $50 or $75 to go out and play in a golf tournament, and then that money is used to support the Heart Walk team. This year, Santee Cooper is going to work with Coastal Grand and have a fashion show. So that's a fantastic opportunity. They haven't set a date or anything, but stay tuned for that. It will be publicized and should be an interesting event. They talked about catering 2 different fashion shows, one to women and one targeting to men. Maybe having Sears is come in and be one of the sponsors for the men and have like a Tool Time Tim type of an atmosphere.
Right.
So that they've got some wonderful ideas utilizing Santee Cooper and Coastal Grand. We also have things like car washes. If a company wants to put on something small to raise money, they can have a car wash and have the senior managers wash the cars. I mean, it's not that great to pay $5 to have your car washed by a maintenance person, but if you can have your boss wash your car, and maybe you can go out and tell him that you missed this spot,
Oh, yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. It just add a little fun and excitement to it.
Sure.
One year, Coastal Carolina University had some of their deans actually be sold for a day. So they had sort of a silent auction, and I think one of them raised over $1,000, where they were slave to a department for a day, and everybody in the department raised money to see who they could win. And the trick to doing something like that is have the senior managers actually be the ones washing cars, be the ones being on the auction block. We've had people do things like pet contests, male beauty contests are big. If you can have a Mr. Legs contest and sell tickets, if you've got 400 or 500 employees, probably all of them will want to come out and support that type of event, as well as you can sell tickets to the open public.
Absolutely.
So there are lots of ways in which it doesn't have to be traditionally going door to door raising money. You can make it fun, interesting, and it's really our annual campaign in which people want to get involved in helping us reach our goals.
That's right. Reaching goals is vital. Tammy, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Tammy Eaves coming up next. If you're a volunteer or a donor or a supporter or a sponsor with the American Heart Association, you think of three big events every year in this area: the Horseback Beach Ride, the Heart Walk, and the annual Heart Ball. Of course, those three events don't take place without a heck of a lot of preparation, a heck of a lot of volunteers, a heck of a lot of financial support. The word is out. We've got to continue to make the effort to get the word out and get folks involved with the American Heart Association. Give them a ring at 843-626-3939.